Because I'm so barrel-chested. Need a lift, bra? Yeah. All right. Huh? It's recording now. Yeah, you heard all that. Okay. This question, everybody was asking me about it. It was kind of funny. Because it doesn't matter what letter is there. Because it's metric. So all you care about is kilo and centi. The letter doesn't matter. It could be kilo quetzals, which isn't anything, but that would have been KQ. Okay? All you had to do, 0.715, and get that down to centa. So how many steps is that? Kilo goes to hecto, hecto goes to deca, deca goes to base, base goes to deci, what goes in the hole? 0. Deci goes to centi, what goes in the hole? 0. So the answer is 71,500 centiliters. But again, only the C matters. Because centi, kilometer to centimeter, that's it. Now, let's pretend you don't remember kilo, hecto, deca, base, deci, centi, milli. Let's pretend you don't remember that. That's okay. I'm not testing you on your memory because I've also given you the tool to figure this out. You have on your data sheet how to go from kilometers to meters, and then you can go from meters to centimeters. You just would have done 2 conversions. Okay? Everybody understand that? That's why metric is better, because the prefix tells you how big it is. And it doesn't matter what the unit is. Cool? All right. So I put 2 kind of difficult ones right at the beginning to show you that indeed there you know how to do it. This question has 413 milligrams to ounces. But if you look on your data sheet, you only had grams to ounces, didn't you? So you had to get this to grams. So right now it's 413 milligrams, but I got to get up to grams. So milli to centi to deci to gram. So 413 milligrams is 0.413 of a gram. Understand? And then I needed ounces. Well, I wanted ounces, so ounces goes on the numerator spot, and then 28.35 grams goes there. So it was 0.413 divided by 28.35 to get an answer of 0.015 ounces. Now, of course, I told you guys numerous times 2 decimals is more than enough. So, of course, I would have accepted 0.02. Or I would have accepted more decimal places than 0.015. Do you understand what I am saying? I am not hung up on the decimal places. I am hung up on you being able to convert it. Cool? Now, what I wouldn't want is if you had done the fraction backwards and you did 0.413 times 28. That is doing it wrong. Do you understand the difference? Everybody cool? Okay. 6.14. 6.14 times, I want miles, so 1 over 1.609. And I get the answer of, I think it was 3.8. And I don't care if you left it as a decimal. If you changed it to some fraction, like 0.8 of a mile, and you did it in feet, that's cool. But if you left it like that, I believe I said out loud to go ahead and leave it like that by this point. You could have left it like that, and I'm happy. Everybody good? Okay. Centimeters to yards. It was 593. Now, centimeters, that's 5.93 meters, yeah? Right? And I want yards. 1 yard is 0.9144 meters, right? So 5.93 divided by 0.9144. And I believe it was like 6.1 or something. 6.49. Okay, great. I don't have the answers in front of me. I'm just remembering from when I did it a while ago. I have the answers to some later ones in front of me, but I don't have this stuff done. 2.3 yards to millimeters. Was there yards to millimeters on your sheet? No, but is there yards to meters? And then you convert meters to millimeters by moving the decimal how far for millimeters? How many steps? Millimeter to meter. 3. Cool? So I would have gone this 2.3 yards. I want meters, so it was times 0.9144, and then I would have moved the decimal. So something around I don't know, maybe 2100-ish. Everyone's happy with that? Okay, so 2100 approximately. Because this is the important part, right? This is what you're going to screw up. None of you are going to screw up the answer because you're punching into your calculator, right? If you screw up the answer, but you've punched in the right thing, this is a perfect example of when you're showing me work. If you write that out, but you hit a wrong button, like you hit 0.914 and forget the second 4, or 944, you forget the 1 and your answer's off, I'm still going to give you full marks, right? Because I'm not marking you on your texting thumbs, right? I'm marking you on your math. You picking up what I'm putting down? Just like if you sent me a text that made no sense whatsoever, I would read it out loud and the sound would work, right? My wife knows she has to read all my texts out loud because I have dyslexia. I made that word up. Dyslexia, because I text badly. If you have dyslexia, I'm not making fun of you. Understand that. I'm just saying I'm a horrible texter because I have very fat thumbs, which is why one of the reasons I switched to a Samsung so I could get swipe. You familiar with that? Yeah. That's awesome, eh? I just love that thing. You can't do it. I'm a wizard at it. You're a wizard, Harry. That's me. Thanks. Because, I care. I really do. I wasn't saying that facetiously. I do like to give references that you guys can pick up on. Speaking of references that you pick up on, how many of you are going to go see Miss Peregrine School for Peculiar Children? Doesn't that look wicked? I cannot wait. I am so stoked. Was it a book? I don't even know. It was a book? Was it a good book? Should I bother to read it? Or is it like Harry Potter, but mostly aimed at girls? You didn't read? Did anybody read it? Miss Peregrine School for Peculiar Children? Nothing?
I picked up the book and inside there were pictures of those.
Oh, screw that. Okay, I'm just going to wait for the movie. Okay, so 35 ounce. Again, we can't go to milligrams, can we? So we go to grams, and it's 28.35 grams for 1 ounce. So we multiply there, and you get something like 992. But I need milligrams. I got to move the decimal 3 places. So something like 992,000. There's probably 100 in there somewhere. I don't have it written down, so tell me if I'm way off. Is that what you guys have? Okay. Now, 385 inches in feet and inches. There's 2 ways to do this. First thing you got to do is do 385 divided by 12, right? And that gets you 32, yeah? Okay, so you know it's 32 feet, but it gets you 32.08, blah, 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 right? Whatever it is. I can't remember. But it's a bunch of decimals, right? Now, here you have a choice. You can either do 0.08 times 12, whatever it was, 0.08, blah, 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 times 12, and that will equal 1. So it's 1 inch. Or you can do 32 times 12, which gets you 384. You need to cover 385, so there's 1 inch left over. Does everybody see how both of them work? Because this 0.08 of a foot, to change that to inches, we would multiply by 12, right? Just like if I had 32.5 feet, we would multiply 0.5 by 12 to get the 6 inches. Everybody cool? Okay. 3.505 ton. Imperial, not metric, not ton. Ton. Because it's American. Yeah? Like the movie whose name, I can't do that line because it's a bad swear word afterwards. From Team America. Bad movie. Don't see it. My friend watched it with his kid. Didn't know. Had never seen it before. It's puppets. How bad can it be? Watch it with his 5-year-old daughter. If you haven't seen Team America World Police, you don't watch with no 5-year-old. You should watch with a 50-year-old daughter. It's a dirty film. It's horrible. Horrible. Anyway, 3.05 times 2,000, which was 6,100. That one I can do because I can do it in my head. This one, 109, had to divide by 16, which gets you 6. And again, you have a choice. It gets you 6 and a decimal. So you can either do the decimal times 16 or you can go 6 times 16, which gets you 96. You need to cover 109, so it's 13 ounces. Cool? Everybody good? Give yourself a mark out of 9. Yeah? Then you don't have to do the clause. Now, one of the classes I said to carry all the way to the 0. The other class I forgot to tell them. Which are you guys? You are the guys that I forgot to tell? So you measured this here to here? Okay. So that means you got, this is 3 1/4, yeah? Because that's 3 1/2, that's 3 3/4. So you went 3 1/4 up to 4 1/4, which is 1 inch, plus another quarter, which is 1 2/4, plus another quarter, which is 1 3/4, plus this last little 16th here. So you should have had 1 13/16 if you measured just what was on the ruler. If you measured all the way down to the bottom, you should have 4 11/16. One of those two is what you should have. I will accept 1 3/4 up to 1 7/8 and 4 5/8 up to 4 3/4 because the photocopying is poopy. So if you have anywhere in that range, you can have the full mark. Okay? Here, that's 8, or that's 1/8 there, 7 1/8. So 8 1/8, that's 1 inch, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 more 8s. So 1 inch and 4/8, which is 1 1/2 inches, I will accept, but I will also accept 8 and 8 1/2 and an 8, 8 5/8. And of course, I will accept anything from 8 9/16 up to 8 11/16 due to the photocopy. Everybody okay? Okay. Yo. Oh, yeah. Same thing. 1/8 on either side of this, right? Or a 16th on either side of a half. So 1 7/16 up to 1 9/16. Because the photocopying, okay? Don't have to worry about claws. You guys are very thankful I dropped that out of the class. Using those calipers with imperial measurement is crazy difficult. Now, this question. He's got how many walls? 4. I reminded you, you don't paint the floor or the ceiling. Okay? Are those walls the same? No. There's 2 of them that are 4 by 3 and 2 of them that are 3 by 3 to get a total of 24 and 18, 42 meters squared. Yes? How many times he paint in his room? Thrice times 3 to get 126 meters squared. Divide by 12, 10.5 liters. Now, this question specifically says, how much paint does he need? So 10.5 liters is the right answer. I will give you the full marks if you said he needs to buy 11 liters, though. Because you could say, well, Mr. Myers, you said that it comes in 1 liter bottle jars. So I will take 10.5 or 11. I don't care which one. Cool? So that's 3 more marks. So we're up to 12 marks available to you so far. Okay. This page here. Now we're on the stuff I have my answers for. This page here, surface area. Now, of course, some of you will have recognized that this is an impossible figure, right? Because if that's 6 and that's 6, this has to be the square root of 72, which is bigger than 8. Okay? The only reason I did it this way is because I used to do this question like that, with no 90, and these two weren't the same. But I did that for about 5 years, and not one kid ever got it right. Even though I said we'd done a million practice times where we said that if you drop that down, this 8 splits into 4. You knew that one was 6, and then you found this distance. You found the height and did it that way. But no kids ever got it right, and it took forever to get them to see, but why isn't it just length times width? So I just threw out the question because it was easier for me because I'm a bit lazy. So if you were doing this question, you would still follow the rules. Picking up what I'm putting down? So you would have found this area times 2, right? Which is base 6 by 6, 6 by 6 by 2, and you would have multiplied it by 2, canceling the 2's to get 36 covers the yellow part. Yeah? And we've already done one like this on your worksheet, right? It's just going to be a different number. And the surface area ended up being 660. The volume, now there's a couple of ways to do volume. Most of you, well, not you guys, most of the students I teach say, okay, I need the volume of the blue prism, which is length times width times height, right? So 8 times 20, which is 160 times 4 is 640, right? And then they add the green prism. Now, some kids say, okay, well, that's half of a rectangular prism, so I can do 6 by 6 by 20, cut in half, which is 360, right? So you can do that plus 360. And some of you are going to tell me that it's 1,000. And that's okay. Give yourself a mark if you have volume of 1,000. Okay? Now, the other thing you could have done is you could have done this. Isn't this shape just that green, pentagon stacked up? So if you found the green area and multiplied by 20, would you have the volume? That's another thing you could have done. So you could have done the green area, which was 8 by 4, 32, and then 6 by 6 cut in half, which was 18, right? 18 and 32 is 50. And 50 times 20, you would have still gotten 1,000. It's just another way to do it. Everybody okay with that? Cool in the gang? Yeah? Okay. So that's worth 2, because there was 2 there. This one, the way I did this one is I do the whole surface area, and I subtract out 2 of them, which are 9 by 2 by 2, right? So if you get the surface area of the whole thing, surface area of a prism, minus 36, you'll have the whole surface area. Cool? So the surface area of a prism is, of course, 2, 8 by 4 to cover the back, plus 8 by 18 to cover the top, plus 18 by 4, and then minus 36. And the answer is 460. And then the volume, again, I do the volume of the whole thing, right? Which is volume of the big minus the volume that's missing. So the volume of the big one is 8 by 4 by 18, right? 8 by 4 by 18 minus what's missing? 9 by 2 by 8, right? 9 by 2 by 8. And you get an answer of 432. Now again, I don't care about the meters squared, meters cubed. This isn't middle school, right? I'm not going to get you to do a whole page of work, forget meters squared, and say, nope, sorry, 0. That's what they did to my kid in grade 6. And now he thinks he's bad at math. I don't like to be that guy. Okay? I cannot guarantee your other math teachers will be that lenient, though. So be aware. Picking up what I'm putting down? Because there are still some math teachers out there like, well, they didn't know that surface area is supposed to be squared, so they really don't understand surface area, so I'm giving them 0. Okay? I'm not that guy. Okay? Okay. I'm a guy that discusses putting you in a bathtub and taking out your kidneys. I'm just kidding. We talked about that earlier, but it was just to remind everyone it's an urban myth and it's never actually happened. Surface area of a cylinder is, of course, 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. It is simply calculator practice. And the answer is 200 pi or 628 blah, blah, blah. If you changed it, if you converted it, that's fine. I'm not even going to write that down because there was nothing you had to do with that except fill in the formula. And use your calculator correctly. Who would like to explain number 31? I know the right answer. I got 1, 2, 3 people. 1 had the cojones and 2 had the ovaries to put their names on the board. Or if you've seen that commercial, they call them lady balls, which I think is super funny. Have you guys seen that commercial for ovarian cancer? When the woman is doing something cool, it's like, wow, look at the lady balls on her. You haven't seen that commercial? It's a real commercial. I'm not making it up. Anyway, Bill, what was your answer? 1.795 centimeters. Kelsey, what's your answer? 1.79 centimeters. Christina, what's your answer? That is exactly correct. It is 1.79 centimeters. So I'm going to give you all 10 gummy bears when I buy gummy bears. So you all get 10 because you're all absolutely right. Normally I would only give it to the first person to get it right, but I'm in such a happy mood because in 17 years, 3 people got it right. Now, who tried it? Well, last year, 2 kids got it right, but they cheated. They went home and Googled it. How many people tried it, did it, got 1.79, but didn't have the cojones or ovaries to write it on the board? Nobody? Sad. Would you like to see how they did it?
Yeah.
I know you would. I'm just going to take over here if that's okay. Unless you want the magic pen, Kelsey. Christina? You want the pen? You want to take over? You can sit in my comfy chair. You can do the whole thing. Bill? Okay. All right. Okay, well, here we go. What do we know in here? The metallic triangle prism has a base area of 20 and a height of 18, yes? So the volume of the prism is the base area 20 times 18, right? Which is 360 centimeters cubed. Everyone cool with that? Okay. The volume of the water in the cylinder is pi r squared h, right? Pi r squared, 8 squared. And what's the height of the water right now? No. Cylinder is half full of water. 25. So that's the volume of the water. Do we all agree? That is 64 times 25. And 64 times 25 is 1,800, isn't it? Come here, Mr. Texas Instruments. No, it's 1,600. Yeah, 1,600. So the water is 1,600 pi. Does everyone agree? Everyone's cool? What happens to the water when I drop the prism in? displacement. It goes up. Eureka, right? You've all heard the story about the guy with the crown. Yeah? That's what this is from. So, the new volume is going to be 1600 pi, correct? Plus 360 centimeters cubed, yeah? So I don't need the centimeters cubed. Does everyone agree that's what the water is going to be when I drop the triangle in? Everyone cool? Everyone agrees? Now, if that's the volume, and volume equals pi r squared h, then over here, don't I still have pi? Don't I still have a radius of 8 squared? But what has changed? What's changed? The height of the water, yes? Do I know the height of the water? Yet? So what do I use in math when I don't know? Well, I'm going to use h because it's already a letter, right? So if I get h by itself, am I going to know the new height of the water? And then once I know the new height, can't I subtract it from the old height and find the difference? That's how I have always done this question. Did you do something different? Similar? Similar? Bill? What'd you do? I'm not trying to be mean. That's awesome, though, because I don't know of another way to do this. You think about it while I carry on for a moment, okay? So this is 1600 pi plus 360, yeah? Equals 64 pi h, right? So if I divide this by 64 pi, I'm going to get h alone, aren't I? So I divide this by 64 pi, and I get an answer of 26.79 is my new height. My old height was 25, so I raised by 1.79 centimeters. Cool? Now, somebody in the other class did something really neat that I'd never even thought about. She converted the centimeters cubed to milliliters, and then told me how many milliliters up the side of the cylinder that it would have gone. Which isn't technically right, because it's asking the height. But if we were in science class, we poured water in a graduated cylinder, it wouldn't have height on the side, would it? It would have milliliters. So it was just a different way to think about the question. I was pretty happy that she even thought about that, to convert them. So would I give her full marks? Yes, I would, because of course this would be an open-ended question, like a last question on a test, wouldn't it? Now, Bill, what'd you do? Volume of the triangular prism to be 360. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so you just found a percent. Yeah.
And then times that percent by the height of the cylinder.
Yeah. Okay. It's very similar. You just changed the base, right? The base of the triangle was a percentage of the circle, right? Yeah, same thing, right? And then you multiplied that by the height of the water. Yeah. Cool. Thank you. I'm going to steal that too. I'll credit you, don't worry. I won't. I'll just say this kid I taught last year. Okay. But if any of you have siblings coming up, because I use this question every year, you can say, Bill, you got a sibling coming up? No, you got no younger siblings? Grade 4. So in 6 years, you can be like, I got that question. Only 3 kids in the class got eyes on it. I got it. I got gummy bears. Of course, in 6 years, I'm sure somebody will have complained about me giving out gummy bears, and I'll get in trouble and have to give out carrot sticks or some crap. Because heaven forbid you guys get anything, junk food in a school. For some strange reason, chocolate milk is allowed. But, heaven forbid you get a bag of potato chips that isn't baked. Even though 7-Eleven's right down the street. That's just me. Just saying. Because we'd rather you spend your money at 7-Eleven than, on the school. Sorry. So, I'm not giving any marks for that because it's a crazy hard question. That's why there were gummy bears involved. Draw the net. If you drew a dunce cap, with a radius, you can have a point. If you drew a circle and a slice of pizza, you can have a point. I don't care as long as you have some kind of drawing. Okay? So the drawing is worth 1. And then the question, it's just the formula. Pi r squared plus pi r slant. It's just calculator work to make sure you can make your calculator do what it needs to do. And the answer is, because I have this answer written down, 864 pi, which is somewhere close to 2,600-ish. I'm sure somebody converted it. 2,700. So that makes that square out of 2 points. And then surface area and volume of a sphere, 4 pi r squared. Again, just calculator work. It's 3,136 pi, or I have it written down. I lie. I'm the worst kind of liar. So that'll be something like 11,000-ish. And then the volume, 4 pi r cubed divided by 3 is like 29,629 pi. 629 pi, dummy. 629 pi. Or something like 92,000 something. And that's out of 2. And I believe the whole thing's out of 21, if I'm not mistaken. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 13, and 9. Oh, the whole thing's out of 22, I get. You guys get 22? 22? Okay. If I remember, and I don't waste too much more time talking about urban legends and things like that, I will come around today while you're working on today's work, and I'll get your score from you. If I forget or we run out of time today, tomorrow on your test, you're going to write your name and your score out of 22 on the test. Picking up what I'm putting down? Yes. Oh, about 8.5 by 11. Woo! Hey. 2 drums and a cymbal fall off a cliff. Ba-dum-bum. All right, okay, but seriously, folks. It's something like 10 multiple choice questions and 10 open-ended questions. Something like that. Oh, and 1 honors question. It's not hard. Okay? So that's what it's going to be. Well, I mean, I don't think it's difficult. You get to use your data booklet, so please don't forget your data booklet. But while you're working, I'm going to be walking around. And if your data booklet has, like, no white space on it because it's been filled up with little cheat notes, I'm going to be mad, right? If you have a couple of notes on your data booklet, I'm not going to go crazy. But one year I said, just use your regular data booklet, and some kid came in, and it literally looked like an Egyptian wall from the pyramids. It was all written on everything. He's, that's just my data booklet, Mr. Myers. And I was like, yeah, you going to lawyer ball me, kid? I'm going to fail you. He's like, I did it right, and I did what you said, so you can't. And I was like, damn, you got me. He was right, so I let him go. So don't do that, okay? Because I reserve the right to take away your data booklet. Just like management reserves the right to refuse you service. Yeah? All right. And I'll take it away from everyone. Boy, girl, tall, short, athlete, non-athlete. I don't discriminate. I'm just generally mean. So don't cheat. Okay? I'm just trying to... Yeah, of course I'm still recording. Your parents need to know that I'm serious. No, it's not like your parents ever watch the YouTube. Don't give me that. Whatever. Your parents don't. Although every so often I'll get a parent that comes into parent-teacher and it's like, I couldn't remember how to do any of that math, so they asked me for help and I didn't know what to do, so I watched a video and then I helped them. And I was like, yeah, boy, that's what it's there for. Anyway, we all good? I have an answer. Should I stop the recording?
Yeah.
Okay.